intro. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is your girl, the girl with the curls, K-Will, here for another edition of the K-Will Interrogation Room. Here with the owner and founder of Truth and Distinction. Y'all see the gear. You see it, you see it. Gold Rush. You already know. Step boldly, courageously, proudly, with honor, with dignity. All right, let me just stop.
Right, all right,
How are
right.
you?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, I mean, you're alive. You got breath in your lungs, so
Yeah,
you got to be
absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah. It's just a blessing just to keep going every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I have I have to understand the first question that I know
hmm
everybody is wondering, but where does truth and distinction come from? What's the true meaning behind all this?
Truth and distinction, what I'm saying? It's a pretty cool name and everything. Um, Let me see. It's born out of a calling. It's not just creativity, all right? Um, No, truth stands for unwavering identity in Christ. That's what that
Hmm.
means. The distinction is the separation. We don't blend in, we stand in our purpose.
Yes, yes, sir.
So, what I'm saying? So basically, that's undeniable. If truth, you stand in truth and distinction, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? That means you strive to be the best every single day. You strive to help your fellow man. And, you know, uh, you just try to strive. You just strive to be the best in whatever you do.
Hmm. I like that. I
Mm-hmm.
usually um implant this same message into I'm a mom. So
You know
I
what
tell
I
my
mean?
kids every day, even
Yeah,
if you do something bad, do it with
yeah,
all your heart. Because like this is life. You can't
yeah,
half-ass it. You get what I'm saying? Don't
yeah.
go in it with like little to no effort and
Right,
then complaining later that something didn't go right for you or
right,
whatever. Like the door's
right,
only
right.
gonna open if you're giving it your all,
Well,
you know?
it is another thing too. If you have something, you have a bad experience, learn from your failures. Learn from your
Yes,
failures.
sir.
The only way you really actually fail is if you just give up. You just give up and
Yep.
everything else.
Which I've done in the past so many times, but
hmm
as you live your life and keep going, there are just so many different things that will see. God's amazing.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
He has taken me back to these certain moments way late in age,
hmm
just so I could learn the lesson in it. If He doesn't think that I learned the lesson, you
Right,
know. So
right, right,
like
right, right.
I'd be like, oh man, I went through this and that, whatever. And God's like, so what'd you learn from it? And if I
Right,
didn't learn anything from it, he's like, let's let's revisit this, okay?
right, right.
So
Yeah, because he has a way of humbling us all. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes as human beings, we just want to do what we want to do. But you
yes,
know, but you have to hear. You have to listen to God and listen to Him, and what I'm saying, just do it His way. And it might be hard to do, but
oh, he doesn't. Ooh. So I was just talking to a one of my best friends yesterday because
hmm
he was just like, man, I feel like I'm going through it. I'm going through it hard. I feel like I'm going through it harder than a lot of other people out there.
hmm
And
hmm
I told him this. I was like, look, I was like, your journey, your testimony is not the next person's testimony.
right,
Okay? You're a leader. And what happens with leaders? They have the most responsibility. So
hmm
God has to make sure you're 100% prepared for the
right,
battle to be able
absolutely,
to lead others. Because if you're not prepared yourself, if
right,
you're not strong yourself, there is no leadership in your field.
right,
There's no way you can lead somebody else.
Right.
if you still are tempted by this, or if you're still holding on to that, like God said, let it go.
Right.
Let it go and let me take the wheel. And if
Right.
you don't do so, then God's gonna, if God wants you somewhere, He's gonna give you the strife, He's gonna give you the dedication, He's gonna give you the lesson. The
Right.
lesson. He's gonna make sure that you are molded into the vision that He has for you, no matter
Ex-
what that takes for Him. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Hmm.
and that's why I think that I love your brand, because I feel like this is exactly what it's about. It's not about, oh, we love God, let's make some merch. You know,
Nah. Mm-mm.
let's show the world that we are Christians or Jesus followers, and
Right.
let's wear it on a shirt and whatever. No, it's not just fashion. It is a message to the people that
Yeah.
we are here, that
Right.
we stand on business.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly. 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 'Cause that's what God wants you to do and everything. You know what I'm saying? He puts the anointing on you to do it. Now, okay, one of my goals is to be a physical therapist. And, I've
Mm,
got to do it. You know what I'm saying? The hospital I work in is a rehab hospital. So that's, what I'm saying? I'm being called to be that, Okay. And then to your point, just like the shirt you're wearing, Go Rush 25, you know what I'm saying? I had the last year's Gold Rush. That's the one from 25. So you look on your shirt, it's grit, optimism, leadership, determination, resilience, unity, strength, and honor. So all those words are what God wants you to be. And what I'm
yes.
wearing, okay, sis, wear your crown.
Mm.
Yeah. So lots of symbolism. So, lion is a very say powerful creature, things like that. So that's why I have crowns there, things like that. So it's all about uplifting people.
So it ain't because I'm a queen. You know what I'm saying? I wear that thing. I'm a
No, yeah,
queen.
we kings and queens, of course,
You
absolutely,
already know.
yeah,
Had to throw it out there. Had to throw it out there. Let y'all
yeah, yeah,
know
yeah,
we got
yeah,
kings and queens a
absolutely,
minute.
absolutely, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I'm a king as well.
Of course, you
Yeah,
already
yeah,
know that.
yeah,
You know that
yeah,
because that's how I address you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We ain't just abnormal. We ain't just ordinary. We stand out. We are a
Right,
king. We are a queen. We walk
exactly,
in. We walk in faith and how we supposed to walk. Okay,
exactly,
so
exactly, exactly. And it was not about just selling shirts. I mean, it's about arming people in confidence, faith, and boldness. That's what this is
mm,
all about right here. So,
okay, so
shirts I'm
that's gonna be
trying
the
to
next shirt, y'all. That's gonna be the next shirt coming out.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
before Truth and Distinction, did you have any names before Truth and Distinction? How how long did it take you to come up with like this? You know what I'm saying?
This, yeah, truth and
Because
distinction.
this is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you mean the shirt you're wearing right now?
Oh no, like Truth and Distinction, like
Well,
the
you know
whole
what I'm saying.
brand name.
Well, you know what I'm saying, because I was gonna call myself True to Life, and my
Ooh.
tagline was gonna be Truth in Distinction. All right, but True to
Mm.
Life it's actually already owned by some. The name is already owned by somebody in Washington D.C. So I just became Truth and Distinction. I said, that's fire, man. And I chose a lion with the crown on it because
Mm.
what I'm saying? Yeah, number one, we know him as the king of the jungle. And you know what I'm saying? And it's
Mm-hmm.
reference to the Lion of Judah. And it's just a powerful creature. You know what I'm saying? It defines courageousness. So, you know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And if you look on the logo, purple, gold, and black, they're African royalty colors. So
Yes.
it had to be about that. So, like I said, if I'm gonna align myself with something, it's gonna be the best. Though. It's gonna be the best. So
And I
that's
love
what's
that.
yeah.
And I another thing I know I love is the fact that we are able to kind of go back and forth with like different ideas for, merch,
Mhm.
different wordings or,
Yeah.
pictures, graphics, whatever.
Yes.
And instead of you being like, nah, this is my brand, back up, I know what I'm
Uh,
doing,
hmm.
you're like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
humble. You're like, Let's
Yeah.
go. I like that.
Well,
And
you
I
know
think
what I'm
that's
saying? Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And it's like this because, it's something I'm in alignment with. What you told me I was in alignment with. And actually,
Mm-hmm.
what you're wearing right now is part of wave one. Wave two is coming this summer, so be on the lookout for that. I'm working on it right now, you know?
Ooh, I love it. You should get, I don't know if I've seen hats on there, but you should get like a hat that kind of matches to go, like a crown.
Right.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk
Okay,
about
we'll talk about it later.
that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, I do need to come up with hats and everything else, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. One step
Hmm.
at a time, one step at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, so what's your vision for Truth or Distinction? And honestly, I feel like everything that I've seen so far, from the quick time or small time that I've known you,
Hmm.
it's been such a blessing to see it evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
feel like you've done so much in the past like week or two,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, dang, look at this dude flow. Okay, he ain't no
Yeah.
artist, he ain't got them bars, but he's flowing.
Yeah,
But you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Man, you know
And
what
I
I'm
love
saying?
that.
Well, you know what I'm saying? All the glory goes to God, number one. And
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Because he wouldn't have put this, he wouldn't have gave me this vision if it wasn't for that. But you know what I'm saying? It's like truth and distinction. I'm trying to get it across America, eventually the world. You know what I'm saying? And then with the overflow that's gonna come, I can, impact lives, impact
Yeah.
the other things. So there's other things that's coming down the road. There's other things that's coming down the road from this, things like that. Saying so because it's pretty much what you're wearing. It's luxury streetwear, actually. That's what that is, and it's supposed to, like I said, uplift people, things like that. I mean, I'm trying to, just impact people with truth and distinction as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? Be able to tell my story. Like with people see you in Boca Raton, people see you in Miami, they should be able to stop and say, oh, and they should be able to feel it, because on the back it says "Sport your
Exactly.
favorites, the bold." So they should be able
Hmm.
to see that, and they're like, "Oh, dang, oh, that's nice, it's beautiful." That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to impact people
The
by.
thing. Yes.
Hmm.
I love that because, even if they don't know what it stands for, they're going to have questions. And, questions are such a beautiful thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I
Yeah.
always tell my kids, like, sometimes as a mom, as anybody, honestly,
Yeah.
if you can't ask all these questions, you'd be like,
Right.
dang, get out my face, man. I don't want. But questions is such a beautiful thing
Yeah.
because it's all about learning,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, and that's the thing about the human condition. There's a thing about humans where it's made to learn. You're supposed to question things and be inquisitive, things like that.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep. And that's how we evolve. We can't sit
Right,
here and be
exactly.
like, "Oh, I know it all. I know it
No,
all." No, you
no, no,
don't.
no, 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 no. If you know it all, you're in the wrong room. You need to
Uh,
get it. You get some new
exactly.
people. You need to get around a new crew.
If you know it all, then I mean, you belong in heaven or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
for real, for
You
real.
ain't made for this realm,
You're
okay?
not. Yeah, for real.
Because man, down here on Earth, we learning. We are
Yeah.
learning,
You
okay?
better learn.
So
You better learn. You better stay open.
exactly, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand people like I've come across a lot of people like that too. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but they
Right.
are
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
all
yeah.
knowing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all
Oh yeah.
knowing. Oh, you
Oh yeah.
shouldn't be doing that because this, not the third, and they have so much logic behind what they think is right and what they think is wrong. And they're trying
Right.
to tell you how to live your life. And you know
Yeah.
what? God, you know,
It- yeah. You know what I'm
God
saying?
didn't
It
make
might
us
work for
perfect.
them. Yeah. Exactly. He didn't make you perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's why. You know what I'm saying? If he made you perfect, then you wouldn't need him. You know what I'm saying? That's why we need to
Exactly.
lean on him every single day. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? So,
sir.
because that's what he said. He gave us free will, and
Yep.
and it's up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's something my mentor Philippa Holden told me. God's gift to you is the life He give you. Your gift to God is to fulfill all the dreams He had for you. That's what He. That's
Yes.
what it is. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful, and
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you probably like come across a lot of different people with very opinionated things about your company, your brand.
Right.
Um, like, tell me how that struggle was for you and how you were able to overcome it.
You know what? I mean, God gave me this, and I gotta obey Him. Let people talk. You know what I'm saying? Let people
Mm.
talk. Talking about, well, they're like, oh, well, you sell more if you weren't Christian. God gave it to me. How can I not?
You know, that is that's the same for like people who are doing Christian music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why are you doing Christian music? Why you gotta be doing rapping about Jesus? You know, I mean, I made millions rapping about, sex, drugs, violence, whatever, just
Yeah.
last year. You know, it's not about the fame, and it should never be
Nah.
because
No,
we're
it's
not
not.
here, we're
No.
not put on this earth for the money, the greed, and all that stuff. It's
No.
in the
No. No.
Bible.
No. You
So
want to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? That
exactly.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. And the thing about it, it's not about the money. You know what I'm saying. Of course, you know what I'm saying. You come if it comes in, you steward it and you put it towards good things. But I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel good that you know I'm changing lives with this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? And the thing is about truth distinction, I am truth to distinction. So, as I grow this company, I'm growing as a man. I'm growing as a human being. I'm growing as one of God's children. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. That's a great feeling, you know. And it's like, you know, people who do, what everybody else is doing, you shouldn't be doing what everybody else is doing anyway. I feel like this: if God gives you a dream, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do it and everything. And I'm just being obedient to what He called me to do.
No matter how hard it is, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's like this. I mean, anything worth having, you're gonna have to work for it, you know.
Is that ooh,
Yeah,
yep.
and shout out to my mentor Philippa Holding, because yeah, I did struggle in the very beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
she's kept me straight because she believed in me, and
Mm.
she wouldn't let me give up on myself.
Believing
Yeah,
in somebody is so helpful, so
yeah, yeah,
vital. If you just
yeah,
have one person who believes
yeah,
in that vision, you know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes, because she knew it was
Because
in me. She knew it was in
yep,
me, and she knew what I could do, and that's big. And and a lot of my friends talking about, well, if you didn't do Christian stuff, people are buying more. It's not about that. It's not
it
about that.
isn't.
What I'm saying? It's not about that. It's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's for people that receive the message and everything else. And you're gonna look good in it. You're gonna feel good about what you
Exactly.
put on. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel good about going in the street and what you got on and everything else.
It's about a legacy.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. That's it. That's it.
It's
Yeah,
it's
it is.
legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about trying to look cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks cool and everything, but it's about legacy. It's not
Right.
about money, fame, and all that other crap.
Right.
It's we out here representing
Right.
for a powerful message. And what God wants us to do is
Right.
even if God will use your struggle.
Mm-hmm.
He will use the hardships of your life. He will turn non-believers into
Right.
believers. Okay,
Right.
the power behind Jesus alone is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to what you're doing, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that outweighs fame, the money, everything else that comes with it tenfold.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand it. Like, we're not in it
Right.
for that, but God is going to pour your cup. Okay, He's going to fill that cup up over and over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? He ain't here for just a quick little glass full of water.
Right.
He's
Right.
here to overflow that cup. So
Yeah.
you can have your little 5 second fame or whatever. But
Yeah.
legacy is legacy is what it's all about, man.
Yeah, it is. You know what
Legacy,
I'm saying? So
message,
like after
power.
I'm gone, when I have kids, you know what I'm saying, that's something that could be built.
Yep,
Legacy lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? Legacy lasts
exactly.
forever. And you say something about overflow. Overflow is how you help people. 'Cause you can't give from an
Mhm.
empty cup. You can't give from an empty cup. You know, what I'm saying? Like fame is just a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? You got to be wise as well too, because you know, I mean, because that right there, what you're worth, that means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about, I'm just somebody, say, of course, my scriptures, but just powerful sayings in general, things like that. So that makes me feel good. It makes making a difference. It makes me feel
Exactly.
good. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hmm.
And there's just so much in it. You have different, like you have the Gold Rush, you have a lot of other ones. Let's talk about what what got you into every other um I don't want to say brand, but let's just say I guess titles of, yeah, like different catalogs, there we go, of merch that you have. Like where did Gold
Catalog.
Rush come from?
But Gold Rush is just like, what I'm saying, it's like I thought about it. Gold Rush was just like, if you think about it, what I'm saying, you think about gold as being very like valuable, things like that. So I came over to across the Gold Rush because it was just something like I wanted. The effect was, you see there, right, that Gold Rush in big letters, and people should be like, dang, what does that mean? Like, I wore
Yeah.
my one last year. He said, I don't know what that means. Then I turned back around and he found out what it meant. So that
Mm.
should get people to wonder what it is. That's the whole point of that shirt right there. See the crown, Gold Rush, and you see everything on the bottom. So this just kind of like this is just kind of like a saying, saying Gold Rush. And it's just something real simple to think about. So I wanted it to mean something,
Mm.
powerful. Hmm.
What would you think your most favorite merch that you have out right now is?
Let's see, Devin the Gold Rush 25. What else do I like? That Truth Burns Hot is real nice
Oh,
too.
I
Yeah,
really love. I was gonna get that one, and I was
yeah,
like, I don't know, but like I actually really like this one and what it stands on.
yeah,
Maybe that might be my next
yeah,
purchase.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the other one, what was it that I said I really like? The faith one.
Grounded in faith. Yeah,
Grounded in
grounded in faith.
faith.
Yeah, grounded in faith. You know what I'm saying? That's from the Spring of Renewal collection. I made that this spring. So just you know, what I'm saying, without your faith, you're nothing. So what I'm saying, you got to be rooted in your faith. So that's what it means, a big thing. So it's meant to be iconic. They're truths. That's the ultimate truth, and it's meant to be iconic. So.
I love. I
Mhm.
okay. Besides that one, or besides this one, that one's my ultimate favorite because
Mhm.
it's a personal thing.
Mhm.
I struggled with faith for a long, long time before I was able to be like, you know what? Let me just give it in. Let me
Mhm.
go all in and just like give him
Right.
all of me, the corrupted side, the negative side, the positive side,
Mhm.
the optimistic side. Like
Right.
he deserves it all, and
Right.
he's he's just so deserving of everything. You know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
What
Of
are we
course.
truly deserved of?
Yeah.
What do
Mhm.
we deserve?
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the faith thing is just a very powerful message for me. So when I saw
Mhm.
that, I was like, it didn't just like look good to me, it
Mhm.
spoke to me. And I was like,
Mhm.
your brand doesn't have a mouth, but it it like this thing is screaming at you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
like, yo, what's up? Okay,
Mhm.
we ain't here. We we are talking boldly. Is your family supportive? Like, how do they feel about your brand? Are they
No,
wearing your merch?
yeah, my father, actually, what I'm saying, wears my merch every day to work. He wears it all the time and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so
And yeah,
awesome.
yeah, man. And when I first started off, he would always be on me about, saying connecting with people, things like that, everything else. In the verb again, he said, "Look, man, you got to go ahead and connect with your target crowd. You got to do all those things." So my whole family is very, very, very supportive of what I do. You know what I'm saying? My whole extended family is.
That's amazing. The
Hmm.
support system from a family hits
Hmm.
harder
Yeah,
than from like outside. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
When you have that
absolutely.
support, it's just something in you that's a little bit more fulfilled.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly. Because They're like, you know what I'm saying, you said make sure you study, make sure you, because you know that it is, so make sure you study, folks, make sure you know what I'm saying, stay prayed up, things like that. That's what my whole
Hmm.
family's like, you know what I'm saying, they all got my back with this and everything else. So that means it means a lot, you know, it means a lot, you know, but I know that with the
Definitely.
impact I'm trying to make, you know.
Talk about impact. So I know we get impacted by somebody in our life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
who impacted you? I would say the most growing up.
Shoot, man. You know what I'm saying? Other than my parents, you know what I'm saying? Because they taught me how to work hard, things like that. Yeah, my granddaddy on my mom's side, you know what I'm saying? He was a big influence on me. You know what I'm saying? He was a Navy man. You know, he was right here in
Mm,
Knoxville, Tennessee. Everything took care of my grandmother, everything else. He could connect with me and my brother, you know, and, you know, that's actually where I get my love from smooth jazz from is him. You know, he impacted
hey.
me a whole lot, stuff like that. And you know, saying I just have to say, my uncle Todd, you know, saying he was, you know, him and my aunt Ruth impacted me a lot. They worked hard and got things they really wanted, stuff like that. You know, they good Christian people as well, but they, you know, saying they got things they wanted, everything else. So you know, hard work beats talent any day. So that's why I learned about that too. I just talked to them yesterday. They real proud of me, you know, and I designed their shirts for the cleaning business. That's what I did.
Nice. Look
Yeah,
at
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Oh, so they
yeah, yeah,
love you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's like this, man. I was blessed with a great family, you know what I'm saying? They're believers, everything else. And pretty much the main thing is they support anything I do if I really, you know, come through with it and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing to be able to run truth and distinction. And I just thought about it. I got something that's my own, and I'm
Yes.
impacting, you know, I'm impacting the world with it one piece of fabric at a time. You know.
I love it. I
Hmm.
love it. I love it. I love
Hmm.
it. I love it. So, all right. We should get a bumper sticker too. Ooh, that just came to my mind when you were talking. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, but
yeah,
I got visions. I got visions.
yeah, yeah.
But all right. So if it wasn't for like branding and merch and everything, like, what do you see yourself doing outside of it? If it, to replace it, if you weren't doing the merch,
I
what would it
wasn't
be?
doing them, man. Dang, I mean, you know, it's just what came to me. I can't think of anything else. I mean, of course, I'm a overflow from this, but you know, what I'm saying that's just what came to me, and I had to obey. You know,
I love that.
I
I
mean,
could
is
see
there?
you being like,
I was gonna, I was gonna say, it's a lot of things I can do, but this
yeah.
right here, you know, my life coach had me meditate, and that's what came to me,
Mm.
and I had to go after it. You know, so there's lots of things I can do, of course.
So I could see you being like a youth pastor or something
Mm.
like that. Is that something you would do? Like I feel like you would be able to connect to. And I'm not saying like a regular pastor or whatever. You
Yeah.
can't do that, but I feel like you would impact a youth generation
Right, right,
most
right. Yeah,
because you're so grounded to this generation. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
You have that. I believe you have that in you to be
yeah.
able to rock their heads a little bit. You know what I'm
Right, right, right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? If that was something I was called to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know I could fulfill it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, of course, you know, like I said, I'm doing my merch, and like I said, I'm going to school to be a physical
Hmm.
therapist as well. So that's another way I'm impacting and everything else. And you know, it's just you know, I'm trying to go after my vision. This isn't just a one-off thing. This is not just a side hustle. I'm building an empire. That's what I say.
I I love that word empire.
Yeah,
Like we use that a lot at Night Wonder. Empire is so profound. It's so like we standing on it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah, 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 because you're gonna move differently if you're
Yes,
doing it. Because side hustle, if you're just doing it to make extra money, you're not really gonna give it your all.
yeah, exactly. And what
You
we
know what
say
I'm
in
saying?
the beginning, if you ain't
Yeah,
giving it your all, then step aside, man, because
yeah, yeah.
it ain't gonna come true for
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
how it should be if you
Right.
ain't giving it all
Right.
you got.
Right. Right. And that's another thing too. I mean, you have to give everything your very best. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Study the best, you know what I'm saying? You gotta research. You've gotta do things like that, you know what I'm saying? So your fabrics, everything else, because like I said, I've had a lot of failures on my journey and everything else. And
Hmm.
I had to learn about fabrics. I mean, I had to get home, but I learned about fabrics. I learned about, how to display my stuff bigger, things like that. So that's the whole point. You got to make a connection. Somebody had, so if somebody wears one of those, it means something.
I love that. Have
Yeah.
you been able to like reach out to anybody? I don't want to say famous, but like well known out there about your brand.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm working on it right now. You know what I'm saying? Just DMing people, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
so I'm working, I'm working with a rapper. His name's The Gift, Caleb Deron. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yes, I sent him. He was interested in the Gold Rush. I sent it to him. You know what I'm saying? So he said he would feature it in one of his songs.
I love him.
Yeah, yeah.
I love how so outside of like, the business and everything, well, Nice Wonder we deal with, artists of all
Hmm.
kinds. So
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, business
Yeah,
owners, actors,
yeah.
models. So like we deal with a lot of music and when it comes to uh anything that I get on our platform, it
Hmm.
has to be purposeful.
Right, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
And so when I come across people who align with that, I like it warms my heart. I
Right.
love
Absolutely.
I love him. I do
Yeah.
love him.
That's
I feel
awesome.
like he is anointed with that purpose. You know what
Man,
I'm
that's
saying?
amazing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Because I just went
that's
here to answer.
important,
He said,
man.
"Yeah, sure." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Sure." I wear to put featured in one of my songs. I'm like, "Oh, cool. All right."
That's awesome. I know
Hmm.
you're like giddy a little bit because I
Yeah,
would be.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Absolutely, man.
okay.
Yeah, I'm like, that's cool, man. That's cool. It made me smile. I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love joy, man. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. So let's talk about hobbies outside of the merch and everything. Like, what do you like to do?
Well, I love to read. Love to listen
Mm.
to music. What I'm saying, my Christian rap. EDM. What I'm saying, reggaeton, stuff like that. I got different types of things. I
Oh,
love to cook.
reggaeton.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Are
yes.
you Latin background?
Uh, we have a little bit of Afro-Cuban in us. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. All
yeah,
right. Wet
yeah.
by. Okay, let's go.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I don't know look of Spanish, but
I was just like, I was gonna ask because like I get a lot of people telling me that, I look Spanish or whatever, but then some people are like, oh, you like you're mixed with like black and white. What else?
hmm.
So but I'm a huge mix. I don't think
Right,
anybody can truly pinpoint everything. So I learned to never judge a book by its cover because
right.
you wouldn't know that I'm part Irish. You wouldn't know that. I mean, probably know Dominican side and all that, but
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah, yeah.
know that I'm
Right,
Indian or
right,
German or you know what I'm
right.
saying. And
Yeah,
our mixes, I I learned to love it. You
yeah, yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
so
It makes you who you are.
culture, yeah, man. I love that you have that mix.
Well, of
I love
course, you know
that
what I'm
you have
saying. Of
that.
course, West African, ancestors from Nigeria. We have Cherokee Indian and Afro-Cuban.
Woo!
So yeah. Hmm.
Oh, so you come from royalty. Let's
Yeah,
go.
absolutely,
Let's
absolutely.
go.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And what I'm saying, another month I like to exercise, I lift weights and everything. Yeah, yeah,
I do
yeah,
too. You can't tell. You can't tell. I
yeah.
look like a little empire, but
Yeah, yeah,
we working
yeah,
on it.
yeah. See?
Okay. Let me put my little guys away. They ain't feel nobody today.
Yeah, man, and just you know what I'm saying, just try to do things that's positive and everything else. I like doing it as well. You know what I'm saying? I love to read self improvement books, and I'm, you know, reading my Bible a whole lot more. So that's been a great
Mm.
impact as well. So yeah, it's just you know, anything I can do helps people. Anything I can do, you know what I'm saying, to make me a better man and everything. That's what I like doing.
I love that. Are you a father yourself?
No, I'm not a father yet. No,
Okay, okay. So is there a little missus out there? Little
no,
somebody?
no, no, no. I'm single right now, so
You single and ready to mingle, Christian ladies.
yeah,
Okay. Don't come with baggage.
yeah,
Gonna throw it out there for him, all right?
yeah.
And he wants about 12 kids. You know what I'm saying? Big kids.
Right.
See, I thought I wanted, or I came from a really big family. I was
Right.
actually adopted into a big family.
I got you.
I can't say I came from one, but when I was like younger, I was like, um, I'm gonna have like 12 kids.
Mm.
I'm gonna, I want this and I want that. But
Yeah,
once you have your second kid,
yeah.
nah,
I always
like
said,
things change.
yeah. I always said I wanted to have two. I always have said that growing up. I always wanted to. I never really said I wanted a real big family. You know.
Yeah, like I should
Yeah.
have. I was just like, I saw a lot of like, big family sitcoms, growing
Hmm.
up.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
watched,
Absolutely.
I watched all of them. I'm like, yo, like Fresh Prince, like,
Yeah, man. See
yeah,
the thing. See, but you know, Uncle Phil was a lawyer though. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
yeah,
He had the
you,
money.
you got to make
Yeah,
that money, boy. He lived in Bel Air. See, he lived in the mansion. He had
exactly.
Daphne. He
Uncle
had it
Phil.
like that. Yeah.
Uncle, I needed me a Uncle Phil in my life. You feel me? I needed him. I need a Uncle Phil today, actually, in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I wanted a big family.
Yeah.
I actually came from, like, grew up in a Christian household and everything.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
but I know the struggle of
Yeah.
growing up in a Christian household because everybody's like, "Oh, you too goody good, good shoes, whatever it's called."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
growing up in that family, like you are surrounded by this all the time. Like my parents would have church studies at the house, and we go to
Right.
church twice a week.
Right.
But but as a Christian, growing up in that household, you know that when you're surrounded by it 24/7
Hmm.
and you don't know anything else, your mind automatically goes to let's see what else there is out there.
Yep. Yep. I went through that too. You know. Well, you know, I lived with my parents, and you know, of course, they divorced when I was 17. So I ended up my senior year in high school going to
Mm,
live with my aunt, who was a nurse at the time, and my grandmother, my daddy's mom, and you know, she took me and my brother in, and she stepped up and helped me out, and she was responsible. Well, her and my extended family, my uncle James, my uncle Kareem, they just worked hard to make sure I passed my senior year. And
hmm
you know what I'm saying, my grandmother, they had a Christian household because I mean, you know, like I always believed in God and everything. I always did believe in God. But, you know, even here recently, the last 5 years, you know, since I've had to really connect with them, I had to give them all of me. Like you said, you know, it
Yeah,
wasn't just, you know what I'm saying, when I was a kid, I believed in them because that's what the good people did. I didn't want to go to hell. But you know,
exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I didn't want to go to hell. I didn't want to go out there. I knew enough to not want to go out there and break the laws and everything. But you got to
Yep.
know them because you know what I'm saying. You ain't gonna get into the kingdom unless you know them. And then my grandmother would just make sure that so was of course it impacted me and my brother. You know, the same way. But you know, say the thing about it is we both had to have that foundation. We had to have that foundation, stuff like
Yes.
that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had that, and I know, um, Even now, me and my pops live together and everything else, and he's a Christian, and he tells me all the time, look, you gotta know desire the things of the Lord,
Yeah.
and it says if you're sincere about what you want to do, you need to pray about it. Pray
Yeah.
about it. When I started my business, you need to pray about that, because if God put that on your heart, you need to pray for people to know about it, things like that. Don't leave it to yourself. He's a very wise man. He's an electrician, never ran a business in his life, but he's a very wise man. And he says, look, man, you've got to believe in what you're doing. You've got to, make sure you can steward it, because this is an idea from God.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important that you have a relationship with them. It's very important. I mean, and when you're a kid, with some people, it's hard to say that, and people are going to say that. People everywhere are going to say that. But what I'm saying, and as you get older, you learn you cannot do anything without them. In my life, what I'm saying, just of course, sometimes, anytime I have doubt about some things or whatever, always got to pray about it and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. You know, that's important. And in my brand, it's a luxury Christian streetwear brand, but it's faith filled as well. It's
Yeah.
faith filled as well. That's what the messages mean, things like that. So that's why it's like, because a lot of the designs and everything are from the early 2000s, streetwear. So that's why I try
Mm-hmm.
to look at it as well and everything else. But my faith is very important. And it's on anything I stitch, anything I make, it's important, because if you don't have your faith, I mean, this it's everything. You know what I'm saying? Your
Faith
money,
is
money,
everything.
your money dries up, looks dry up, things like that. But you got to have your faith in it, and it's your whole confidence. That's what I had to learn. If you have faith in God, that's your entire confidence.
That's the only way that you can step boldly. The
Right?
only way is if
Yeah.
you have faith.
Yeah,
Because
man.
if you ain't got no
You
faith,
got it.
even if
You
it's
got it. You got it. There
yeah,
you go. Step boldly. That's what that means. Step boldly in faith.
yeah, even the
Hmm.
faith of a mustard seed,
Yeah.
even the faith of a mustard seed. You know
Right.
how small a mustard seed is?
Yeah. This is
You know
tiny.
how small. The thing is
Tiny.
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 And
Yeah.
God said, just have that little,
Yeah.
faith in me
Yo.
and
Yeah.
watch me work. Okay,
Right. Right. Yo, you know what I'm saying?
that's
So you gotta receive
incredible.
that. You gotta receive that, because you know what I'm saying? Us as human beings, we want to go ahead and control everything, and you can't do that, you
Yes,
gotta let go and let God, as they say, you know?
man. I allow, and this is now
Yeah.
and that's why I said like that faith thing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I struggled with it a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it to where I have it, I own it, it's a part of me.
Yeah.
But anxiety is in my life. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so my anxiety, I'm not gonna no anxiety, not mine. Anxiety, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is in my life through driving, through traveling. Like I get anxiety traveling, I get anxiety going in public, I
Lord
get
rest in
anxiety
peace.
this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how creative and how like just God is. God's like, you know what, you may have the anxiety, but I'm gonna put you in a field to where you have to do these things. You have
Mm-hmm.
to connect. You have to go out. You have to, like, I have my own TV shows. I'm a model for Nights Warner Music and Entertainment.
Right.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
putting myself out there. I have to be in a public figure. You know what I'm
Yeah. You
saying?
know what?
God will do that.
You don't think I struggled with that when I first started off? Hey, man,
It's,
Philip, my life coach, had to tell me, no, you the face of the franchise, baby. You gonna have to
it's
step up. You the face.
yes.
Who else gonna be the face? You don't
Right.
lead, you don't eat.
Exactly. Exactly. And he's really, a lot of people are like, dang, because, I'm just going to be upfront and real. I working here, I get commission based only. I'm It's not like I'm paid salary. It's not like I'm paid hourly. None of that.
Right,
So
right.
I had a lot of people in my life, even my family, at times, be like, "Man, I should go get a real job." Why don't you do this, that, and the third?
Yeah, they gonna say that.
But exactly. But you understand, God will put you in a position, even if it looks like you're struggling, even if it makes you look bad to the other people or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
He will put you in that position to let you show them what
mhm.
he can do.
Right,
There
right,
are
yeah,
many people that
right.
I've been able to impact,
Mm,
or they've impacted me in such a profound way that would have never been the case if I was out there doing X, Y, and Z. I
mm-hmm.
mean, it would have been to maybe a certain extent, but the
Right.
people that I talk to, like you, this connection would never happen.
Mm.
So God knew what he was doing. He
Yeah,
always knows what he's doing. And so
yeah,
you have to
absolutely.
understand, even if it doesn't make sense to you or to
Mm,
other people, you got to keep it going.
yeah,
You
you
got to
do.
have that faith because
You do.
God said,
Yeah, you do. You do. You do. And that's what I had to learn in this journey and everything else, you know what I'm saying? Because last 3 years, that's what I had to do. And I was like, well, I don't go live. I don't do that. I had to learn to do all of that and everything else. But that's very important.
mm-hmm,
Because even at my my last job, I just went to a new hospital. I'm learning a new job as a rehab nurse tech. I was a nursing technician at University of Tennessee Medical Center for like 5 years. I had to speak in front
yes.
of people and everything else, so I had to step up. You know.
And God will put you in that position to do so. Even if you're like, I don't want to do it, I don't even know what to do, I
Yeah.
was going to be like, that's cool. Let me mold you. I got you.
Hmm.
I
Yep.
got you.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's incredible. I love the fact that we were able to connect, man. This connection, I feel like it's gonna be a very long time connection, a
Absolutely.
lifelong. Yeah, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah,
Like
man. Yeah.
very excited.
Hmm.
I actually came up with maybe another. I know. Don't jump on me, but another idea for like a shirt or even a
Okay.
hat or something like that. But
Okay.
just because the storm has been like making us lose connection and everything, um,
Mm.
you can lose connection but never lose Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 I like that.
Or you can lose connection, but you can never lose Jesus. There we go. You can,
Mm.
because Jesus, you may think that, you know, you are too far gone,
Right.
or you done, you're not a believer, this and that. And I've never been a believer my entire life, so I don't know why I would start now.
Mm-hmm.
But even to the non-believers, he's there, and he's
Mm-hmm.
he's there. You just gotta open your eyes, pay
Right.
attention.
Absolutely.
So
Mm-hmm.
I I do. I don't know if it's gonna cut off after 1 hour. I don't know. It's at 1 hour now, so I don't
Yeah.
want to I don't want to mess it up. But so I'm just go ahead and go to the conclusion of it. But we'll definitely
Right.
talk afterwards.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
it was a pleasure,
Yeah. Yeah.
pleasure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. 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 And thank you for having me. Everything else. People out there, when you see this, man, get on the website, Truth and Distinction, www.truthandistinction.com. She wearing a
Hmm.
Gold Rush 25 shirt. That's in the
You
season
already
right there.
know.
We got more coming later on this summer, so be on the lookout for that. Hey, I appreciate y'all having me.
Y'all better shop over there.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, you will not get off that site without not getting something. There's just so much on there that is so powerful, and it's gonna take your breath away, because it
Right.
literally took mine away. But
Yeah.
there's certain things, those messages are powerful.
Yeah.
So walk with intention. That's one thing I let y'all know before we close out. And I want to hear one piece of advice that you will give whoever's watching this, listening to this. What's one piece of advice you want to give them?
Man, just stay focused. Man, you know what I'm saying? Stay prayed up. And if you don't think you can't, if you think if you don't think you can do it, you must do it. You must
Mm-hmm.
do it. You know what I'm saying? God works, man. I mean, that's what I'm gonna say. God works, and whatever you do, man. And I say another thing too. This is what Virgil Abloh used to say, man. You trying to make the 17-year-old version of yourself proud.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's go. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and close out. But I want y'all to know that if you ain't stepping intentionally, you ain't stepping boldly, you ain't stepping proudly, confidently, then you ain't stepping right. So go ahead and get your shine on by stepping in Christ. Even if you aren't a believer or whatever, just know God's always there for you. I want you to have a blessed day. This has been another edition of the K-Will Interrogation Room with the owner founder of Truth and Distinction. Go Brush. This is the gear right here. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay up, stay true, stay blessed, and I'm out. Bye.